All right, here we are, another episode of On the DELO, and as you can tell, we're not in the DELO studio. We're in a very magical place called the Sand Center.
Yeah.
So, Katie, welcome. I'm excited to have you. I'm excited to talk about a lot of fun stuff. Tell me, what does the Sand Center stand for?
It's the Self-Arising Nature Center.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so it's like inspiring your true nature, all the things that make you that are beyond what you could even imagine. It's like inspiring that to come out.
I love that. And when did this whole project come about? When did you find this building?
We found it in 2018.
Okay.
It's been through a lot of different iterations. Now it's a wellness center in the headquarters for Lotus Way. We offer all kinds of healing services and flower remedies and chocolate and tea and events.
Yeah.
And education.
So before you got into all of this, what was early Katie like? What were you doing before healing people? And
How many years do you want to go back?
why don't we start like say college years?
Oh, okay. So I was like loving people, studying sociology. Couldn't really, when you like look at all the things you can study and you're like, there isn't really anything here for me.
Yeah.
But you make do. I spent a couple of years in Europe, living in Germany and Spain. After that, I lived in Mexico for a couple of years. It was actually in Mexico that I met someone who was teaching about flower remedies.
Okay.
And changing the world. And then I came back to the U.S. and started the business right
So
off.
you learned about flower remedies out there and you just felt like this like attraction to flowers or?
Well, if you want to know the real story,
Yeah.
I was doing volunteer work, right? Because after school, I was like, well, what do you do with a sociology degree?
Right. Nothing?
So I went to volunteer my time for a couple of years,
Yeah.
working with kids who were from rural, spaces and didn't make it to school, and we'd bring them to the city and they'd get educated. And that was really fun. And in my free time, I studied every form of natural medicine that I could find.
Okay.
And in Mexico, there's just so many options. They're so much more advanced than we are here in the U.S. in terms of like herbal medicine.
Yeah. I thought Diddy was snoring for a second.
She might need to be relocated because she's kind of a loud snorer even when she's awake.
She's the best. She is the best.
You just tell us if you need her.
There's a dog in the house, folks. If you're listening just audio, dog in the house. If you see it on video, you got to catch the dog.
Oh, dog lovers.
So
So I'm walking down this cobblestone street and there's nobody else around. It's a holiday. And
Yeah.
this really beautiful indigenous woman comes out and she gives me a flyer. And I'm like, what is she out on the street? I'm the only one out here. I look at the flyer, usually you just toss it in the trash. And it was a flyer for this course in flower remedies. This guy was flying in from Madrid, Spain. And I was like, this is totally something I want to do.
yeah.
So I hopped on a bus to Mexico City. I met this guy, and he was like, oh, number one, every flower has a specific like action that it does for our mood and our mind, which was kind of mind-blowing for me.
Yeah.
And then the second thing he said was if we could get 3% of the world's population working with this particular type of energetic remedy, it would change the future of the planet.
Okay.
And I was like, I have no idea what that means, but it sounds good. So I studied with him and a lot of his apprentices and lived in Mexico for a couple of years, ended up starting my business in Mexico.
In Mexico? And what year was this?
This was in like 98, 99, 2000.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, I just woke up one morning in January. You know how you sometimes just like, oh my God, I'm in the wrong place.
Right. What am I doing?
Why am I in Mexico?
Yeah.
I need to get back to the U.S. And I was excited about bringing this concept to the U.S. because, so many of us here are more skeptical. We turn to pharmaceuticals. We may not know that there's natural options that are super effective.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah. Speaking of business, like.
Yeah. Right. I know you're like opportunity.
Yeah, I get here in 2001. I'm like, I'm going to bring flower remedies to the United States. And it was like,
Right.
You want to talk about like energy of flowers? I mean, yoga wasn't even cool then.
Yeah.
Meditation was not cool. Breathwork was not cool in 2001. So that was a little bit of an uphill battle.
So what kept your head in the game? What kept the passion going to have you just still, move ahead?
It was that I would see clients one-on-one. They would find me somehow. Either they were like struggling and they had tried everything and they wanted something that would work, or they were like, my life's awesome, but I know there's more, right? So they would come to me for two reasons. And I just kept watching people transform in front of my eyes, and I was like, this is insane. How come not more people know about this?
That's cool.
It was like, we could do a reality TV show about this.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot imagine or underestimate the way the face changes, the body language, people's stories. Like, they'd come in with like 5 suitcases of baggage, and then in 3 weeks I'd see them and they were like, oh yeah, I left it down the road, I'm good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so you're helping people one by one, and you're feeling this energy, and you're feeling your passion getting fulfilled, and you're like, how do I make this like more? How do I help more people?
Yeah, because I mean, I actually did the calculations, and I was like, well, I can see 5 or 6 clients a day, because at that time we were like talking for an hour and a half and all other stuff. If I see people at the highest level and I don't take any vacations for the rest of my life, I can reach 76,000 people. And I was like, that's not enough.
That's not going to happen. Yeah,
that's not the 3% I'm looking for.
Yeah. So out of this, was this kind of the antithesis of the Lotus Way in the way that it looks now? Like the business model of it?
I mean, we never intended to actually have products. I mean, I was just offering people services. And it wasn't until, I saw like the depth of how crazy powerful it was that I was like, okay, I really need to think in terms of scale.
Yeah.
Scaling human potential. Like, how do we scale human potential? Mm-hmm. And I get really excited thinking about, if I could liberate all of the human potential that I have, if I could liberate yours, or maybe not even me, but like the vehicle, the thing, could liberate like their full potential. Yeah. It's a whole different world we're living in. Because if I'm teaching a class, for example, or speaking to a group of people, I'll always ask, like, okay, raise your hand if you have maxed out your potential. Like, you're as bold as you're ever going to be. You're as wild. You're as loving. You're as kind, generous.
Who raises their hand?
Never.
Yeah.
How do we know innately that there's more? Yeah. We know there's a little shit holding us back.
A lot of shit holding us back.
Yeah. And then even if you look at the parallels of like spirituality, personal growth with running a business. Mm-hmm. Like, in my perspective, running a business is like a spiritual path too, because it just sands down all your crap. If you think you don't have crap, start a business.
Yeah. Well, and you're running a conscious business.
Right.
Right?
Right.
On top of that.
Right.
So people don't be fooled. Like, yes, we're very much in love with people and, being conscious about it, but you got to make money in order to do more of the conscious business. So here's what's really cool, and I want everybody to know this. So Green Living Magazine, Dory, who owns that, is a friend of ours. I didn't even know about this place, and I was born in Arizona, lived here, didn't even know what you do. Now, I did read that, 95% of your clientele are women?
Yes.
Yeah. Which, to me, is a crisis of its own, because so many men could really utilize what's going on here. So my wife and I come here, we walk in. My wife must have grabbed 7 different vials, of the flower essence. We're sniffing them all. She bought them all for gifts. And I have a couple on my desk that I use, every night, every morning as I wake up to, fulfill my energy and do all that. But completely fell in love with this place. And I was just like, this is a tool, even for the busy entrepreneur, to be able to use to do, like what you say, to just reground themselves during the course of their day.
Yeah, or okay, I'll just look at my own weaknesses.
Yeah.
When I first started my business, and all throughout, right? Because you have different layers and ceilings. Hard to ask for money, hard to sell, hard to do your elevator pitch. I think 20 some years later, I still don't have a good elevator pitch. I don't know how to tell you in one sentence or a phrase what I do.
Right.
Communication. How about having to fire someone?
Yeah.
How about hiring? How about having a hard conversation with an employee, right? So all of those are opportunities for something like flower remedies or meditation or whatever the modality is to make you better, to make you more you, to make you more fearless and bold and risk-taking.
Yeah.
You have to be in business, right?
For sure.
Focused.
All those things.
Clear.
All those things. So Lotus Way, tell me a little bit about like how you come up with the different mixtures, like the science behind it, just a little bit about kind of the behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. So we work with 2 different things. One is the essential oils, which everybody knows about. Yeah. The smelly stuff.
Right.
And then we work with the actual flower remedies, which is the part that has no scent. It's just based on energy and life force. I go out into the wild, all over different parts of the world, collect the flowers and their essence, create like a homeopathic essence out of it. And then that's actually what's moving the dial the most. The smelly stuff is like a nice kind of cherry on top. But what's really moving the dial for people in a personal growth way is the life force from flowers. Okay. If you look at studies coming out of the University of Bristol in the UK, they show that bees are not attracted to flowers based on color or scent, like we always thought.
Yeah.
That actually the flowers are emitting a very subtle electrical frequency currency. And the bees feel that vibe in the hairs on their legs.
Ah, that makes sense.
So they're like having this dynamic, energetic communication.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's the electricity that we're tapping into. That is the same electricity that's passing through your body,
right.
Say like an acupuncture session or moving through your meridians.
Yeah.
So it's really just about tweaking your energy, and plants, because they're such a like vehicle of purity. You know, it's like a tuning fork. There's anything that's kind of out of balance in our symphony, it just clears up the tone, makes it clean.
And you love to travel and you love to find new flowers. I mean, are there still flowers that you're finding that you never even knew about?
Oh my God, we have probably 250 in our library, and there's over 40,000 flowering species.
Oh, you got a lot of work to do.
Maybe, I don't know how many before I die.
What's your favorite continent to go to? And
so everywhere has a different lesson or message. If you go to Costa Rica, a lot of the flowers and orchids from Costa Rica or that area of the world will pull out subconscious fears.
Okay.
If you go to Iceland, it's like making your childlike wonder turn up. If you go to Southeast Asia, it's like proliferation, abundance, money, prosperity, growth, like overwhelming.
I can see that, yeah.
So everywhere around the world has kind of a special spin, and then each individual flower is like a little flavor of that.
Okay. And then when you go there, do you, and I'm totally naive to this, so you have to forgive me, do you just like go pick flowers and put them in a bag and then transport them back, or like what?
Yeah. It's a process that actually a lot of cultures have used, like thousands of years. You see it in Australia, in the Himalayas, South America. You see it in Europe. Doctors in Europe used to tell their patients, hey, every morning you need to go out into the desert and look for this color flower and drink the dewdrops from the top every single morning.
Really?
So that was like the old school way of doing it.
Yeah.
We don't really have dew in Arizona.
No,
much.
Not really. The Mountain Dew.
So it's like, it's super simple actually. It's like a clear glass bowl of water.
Okay.
The sunlight is what transfers the life force into water. Water is a recording device, right? Like the same like CD, record player, magnetic tape on a cassette tape. Yeah. They're all recording devices. Okay. And you add alcohol, that's what preserves it.
Okay.
So that's what makes this like supercharged water.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds weird, but then when you put it in or on your body, it harmonizes things.
It doesn't sound weird. It sounds magical. That's really cool. Wow. All right. So you brought some here. You want to describe like the ones that you brought here and just kind of what they do? And
Woo. Yeah, this is a newer one. So this is called Sacred Heart. More in the last 2 months or so, we've seen, don't worry, it won't happen to you, but we've seen that when we miss people with this one. Wait for it. No.
Oh, wow.
This is interesting for people who are just like carrying a lot of burdens and have just had to stuff it and tuck it somewhere and don't have time to deal with it. Sometimes people just like burst out into tears with this. And it's awesome to make space for that because you just see like, oh, people are just like able to like in a moment take all that heaviness out of their system.
From the moment I had been using these and why I'm such a big fan and I wanted to interview you, like for people listening, you can't contextually actually say what you physically feel after like being in the essence of this, of the mist, of the flowers, of everything that goes along with it. It's just, and you just spray that on me and I'm like, I feel like I'm just in a different zone. Yeah,
and it doesn't get old. I mean, we were just saying the other day, like this is the first thing I ever made probably, I don't know how many years ago, over a decade ago. It's called Joy Juice. And I find myself needing this one more than ever, because it just like, you know, when you tend to get too serious and you get the little lines here and you're I have too much to do and I'm responsible.
I gotta do all this.
I'm
an entrepreneur. I gotta grind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is like the anti-grind
Totally. Yeah.
antidote.
So you put this on, your work day goes from 50 hours to 5.
Or you just like laugh more and enjoy it all more. You don't feel like you have to be stressed to get it all done.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so great. I love it. So the center itself, you had mentioned there's a whole bunch of different activities that go on here. Tell me like a little bit of everything that goes on. What are your plans for the center as you grow it and do stuff?
Yeah, so downstairs we have 2 floors. Downstairs is the headquarters, so we make every single remedy that we make.
You make it all here? Okay.
And then upstairs we have healing spaces. So there's an acupuncturist, Ellen Chang, who works here. There's Elizabeth Anderson is our chiropractor who does a lot of muscle testing and applied kinesiology. So for folks who are like, which of these 15 supplements do I actually need? Let's test my body.
Yeah.
She's amazing at that. Lisa, we have meditation classes every Saturday with chocolate.
Really?
That.
That's right. Didn't you have a chocolate pound here, I think, that day, or some sort of chocolate device here?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did. We had fondue.
Yeah.
Good memory.
I try.
We're big fans of chocolate.
Yeah. Well, tell me the magic of chocolate.
So that's like more Lisa's area of expertise, but I've heard her speak enough to know that if you have dark chocolate, if you don't add milk, it is extremely good for your health.
So like cacao?
Cacao. You know, she makes it in bars of chocolate. She uses coconut sugar. It's very low glycemic.
Okay.
And her chocolate is like, you know, no gluten, soy, dairy, anything.
Yeah, none of that stuff.
None of that stuff. So what we've found is that it's actually better if you eat chocolate than if you don't. It's reducing the risk of heart attack, stroke, preeclampsia in pregnant women. It reduces stress. It boosts your body with magnesium, and it's happiness.
It's good.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's actually better for people to eat it than not eat it.
My wife will love this because she has 1 square of dark chocolate every night. And she's like, and so the other day I was kind of craving a little bit of chocolate. I eat really clean, but sometimes I'm just kind of like, I need a little bit. And I go into her chocolate and she looks at me. She's like, if you're going to start eating this, we need to have a talk because I have to budget for the chocolate, take. So yeah, chocolate's magical.
It's like an insurance policy. You know insurance.
I do know insurance.
Insurance policy.
Yes, but nobody wants to hear about that. No, that's so cool. Okay, so tell me about. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question, and this is I just had to ask this because there's no right or wrong answer, and I don't know if any of us know, but I wanted to ask you, where do we go when we die?
Well, the consciousness leaves this temporary temple house, right?
Yeah.
That they can scientifically weigh in grams how much the consciousness weighs. So this thing that we've become really attached to,
right,
that feels really solid, we leave that behind, and our consciousness leaves the body. Hopefully at the top of our head. Yeah. Where do we go? Well, I mean, it's my belief that if we want to, we can take another body and have another temporary house and come back and benefit people more. And I think you see, like, sometimes you see little kids, who are 5 years old and they're like crazy, amazing pianists or have this incredible skill or talent. And you're like, how on earth do they know how to do that? Or maybe they come in and they're like super angry. Like, are they that angry when they're just babies and they have nothing? Right?
Right.
Or, for example, like as adults, we meet people and we're like, God, I feel like I've known this person. Or like, you have that connection sometimes with people where you're like, I know this person. And I was so energy. You know this person. So there are like a lot of little indicators or examples of sensations that we get that could point to our ability to keep coming back and keep benefiting the planet if we wish to.
I love that answer. It was a ballsy question. Only I could ask it to. A lot of my restaurant guys would be like, I don't know, dude. So I had to ask it. That's beautiful. Okay, I do want to ask you this, though, not quite as deep. So you're an entrepreneur. You're busy. You're doing beautiful things. You're shipping out, I'm sure, tons of these a day. You have a huge online business, I would assume. What does your personal day look like? Like you get up, do you meditate, do you walk? Is every day different? Do you eat scrambled eggs or just tofu? Like what's going on with Katie?
Yeah, every day's a little different.
Yeah.
And it changes. Right now, I haven't been getting up as early as usual because it's winter.
Yeah.
I've been allowing myself to sleep in a little. Around 8:30, there's a group of us at my house that do meditation practice together, anywhere from an hour to 2 hours.
Wow.
With all of our dog family around.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Usually have bacon and coffee for breakfast.
Very cool.
Are you a fan of bacon?
Oh, he loved bacon.
Do you know there's more potassium in bacon than in bananas?
No, I didn't.
And it's supposed to be like super good for achy joints.
Okay.
There's all this bad press about bacon.
This is a short clip, Diddy. We're gonna put this on. Really, I didn't realize that.
Bacon is super
But
good
you gotta
for
eat the right
body.
bacon, right? You gotta get
Clean
like the
bacon.
good, clean bacon. Yeah.
Good
What's your favorite brand?
There's like a no sugar added Applegate. from
Applegate.
Sprouts.
Yeah, same here. Okay.
so good.
Okay, so bacon and coffee.
Bacon and coffee. Office day is like lots of meetings, phone,
Yeah.
Zoom, lots of folks here.
Podcasting.
Podcasting.
Yeah.
We have quite a big team. There's 15 of us around the world, so we're always kind of like pinging each other and working on different projects. We end up working anywhere from like 9 or 10 a.m. until 7 p.m.
Okay.
There's a lot of us who work together and play together. So if dinner looks like about 10 people every night, we trade off cooking.
Wow.
And it's fun. 'Cause
Yeah.
everybody who works at Lotus Way is devoted to their own personal growth and like being a better person,
Yeah.
even if it's hard and challenging.
Right. Right.
So there's a lot of opportunities for
Yeah.
growth.
And you guys have a kitchen back there too.
We have a kitchen. We have Asian food every day for lunch. Everybody eats lunch together.
So cool.
It's fun.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, we're gonna do some videos and do a tour of the space in a little bit. And your social media is spot on. Okay, photography is spot on.
That's Taylor.
Oh, I know. So no, that's great. Well, this is awesome. Can you just let everybody know kind of like where they can find you and what services you offer?
Yeah, so you can find us at lotusway.com.
Okay.
There is WEI is the way part. There is this amazing quiz. There's a couple of them.
Yes.
If anybody just wants to if anybody got like tweaked curiosity about the
I'm
flowers.
gonna put it in the show notes. I'll put the quiz in the show notes. Yeah.
It's so fun. I myself do it like every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because it's such a reflection of what you're feeling and where you're at and what you're working on in the moment that it's eerie.
Right.
And then it'll tell you the remedies to work with. And then you take the remedies and you're like, oh my God, my life is so much better. This works. So that's the flower side of things.
Yeah.
It's more like services and come and hang with us in Phoenix. It's soncenterphx.com.
Yeah.
We do anything from like private ceremonies, which is for people who want like a radical shift in their life, to smoke offering ceremonies. A lot of women have gotten pregnant that way. And then, look, I don't know if I can publicize that, but it's true.
Yeah.
Meditation classes and sessions, acupuncture, applied kinesiology, anything to do with like where you want to go next in your personal transformation and also your physical health, we can support you with.
That's so cool. All right, I got some rapid fire questions for you. Ready?
Shoot.
Okay, fruit or veggies?
Fruit.
Fruit?
Yeah.
What's your favorite fruit?
Mango. Yeah. Or chocolate.
Oh my God, look, I'm not lying. Chocolate or mango? I had that as one of my questions.
Did you like guess what I was going to say?
No, I picked that to ask you which one you would want more.
Oh, I see. Both. I mean, okay, chocolate.
Okay, you're gonna pick chocolate. Okay, that was one of my questions. That's too funny. All right, breath work or cold plunge? There's no right answer. You can just.
Breath work.
Yeah. Do you like cold plunge?
I like hot springs.
I like hot springs too. Have you been to the one up at? Yeah, I have for my wife. It was fun. It's too expensive now.
Castle.
Yeah, Castle.
Oh my God. I wanted to go there a couple
It's like $2,000 a night. And you gotta book 2 nights. I'm like, what? I ain't Rockefeller.
I know.
I'll just sneak in there. Aliens or Loch Ness Monster?
Loch Ness Monster.
Okay. Dance or meditate?
Oh. Like both?
Okay. Cool.
Can't you do both at the same time?
You can do whatever you want. Do you astral travel often?
That was something that I practiced trying to do a lot when I was 7.
Okay.
Because I was looking for everybody here.
Yeah.
I was like, I am not supposed to be stuck in this tiny town in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan on Lake Michigan as the only kid out in the middle of nowhere. Where are my people? So I would try to astral travel and find everybody.
And now you're here.
It didn't really work, but now I'm here.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
And by the way, the tea is amazing here. I'm just going to come here and drink tea every day. Cabin in the woods or tent on a mountain?
Oh, geez. Cabin in the woods.
Okay. You can do the tent on the mountain, too.
All sound great.
Okay, last question. This is a good one. All right. Led Zeppelin or Hall & Oates?
Oh, that's weird.
How many podcasts have you been on and you get these questions, huh?
That's awesome. I would say Hall & Oates, because it reminds me of my dad in the 80s.
Okay, there you go. Perfect. Well, this is a blast. We're going to do some videos around the facility, but I thank you so much for spending the time with me. And I'm excited for my audience, who is a lot of entrepreneurs, restaurant owners, people that I really feel would benefit so much. And if they could just come down and get some spray and just like take it in and understand the feelings that you get. And we'll promote this because it's dear to my heart.
And if you ever want to do like some kind of entrepreneurial group, or like every now and then a recorder, have entrepreneurs come in. Like I love talking about business. I don't get to talk about business enough.
Let's do it. Let's set it up.
And I know how hard it is.
Yeah, it is hard.
Especially when you're just getting going.
Yeah.
20 some years in, it's a little bit easier for us. But I remember like setting up at farmers markets and putting shit on credit cards and not having enough money to meet ends. So like, I know how challenging that can be. So.
Well, we'll do that, and also I'll make you a deal. I have a mastermind that I'm doing with another individual, and on our mastermind, we like to bring in guests and kind of talk about, you know, what they've done to build up and to do. And it's just, I'm going to be 50 in a week, and it's one of these things where it's like, I'm just at a point in my life, if I'm not having fun and I'm not helping others, what am I doing?
Exactly.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Peace out, everybody.